should all grades, all students make observations?
Hello, and welcome to today's Inquiry Zone. This is Aliya Caldwell,
Sally Bawtinheimer.
and we have an excellent question for you today. Sally, what do inquiring minds want to know?
Well, we have started working with schools reviewing the science inquiry process, and we are working with teachers in kindergarten, even some preschools, all the way through sixth grade right now. Also thinking of getting ready to work with middle schoolers. And some of our teachers with older students are asking this question. Step one of the science inquiry process is what or make observations. So should all grades, all students make observations? So Aliya, let's start by reviewing what are observations.
All right, observations are key to inquiry because observations are basically our natural curiosity coming out of us. We can observe through sight, that's the one we typically think of, but we can also observe through sound, listening to the world around us. Our smell, sometimes that's a good one to observe, sometimes not so much. Depends on what you're observing. Taste is one we don't often use in schools because, yeah, we don't want to be licking things. Please don't lick things. And feel. And feeling isn't just our fingers. Feel can also be inside of us, like pressure on us, like hearing a loud sound, but also feeling the beat of the music inside of me, or how music may even make me feel. That's an observation as well. So, when we talk about observations, we really want to encourage our students to focus on all five senses, not just the one we think of most regularly.
Yeah, and as we start with these observations, what we find is you will activate the internal curiosity of each of your students. And as they interact and engage with whatever it is that you're studying at that time, the more observations that they make, the more time they have to keep making observations and to not just the first, obvious observations, but keep giving them more time to come back and make, more observations. You will get that buy-in from the students. They will be excited about what you're studying, motivated to learn, and just, getting ready to really take that learning to themselves, like take it into their own hands.
Yes, and it's important to remember also that observations aren't just step number one and we check it off. Observations really should be made throughout everything that we do. And it doesn't have to be just in science or investigation time. It could be simply, hey, I'm observing our line is a mess today, students. How can we fix this? And there's a simple little investigation, but I'm not setting up 100 little manipulatives and things like that. It's just a quick observation of, oh goodness, we're not going to make it to lunch on time. We're a mess, and fixing it.
Yeah. And sometimes as a teacher, you will need to facilitate for your students making observations and role model for them making observations yourself. Like you mentioned, making an observation of your class, at the beginning of the year with those beginning procedures. There's lots of observations to make as you're trying to get those fine tuned and, working well. But as a teacher, you want to role model just in your everyday life and everyday experiences together so that your students will see how observations are in all parts of our life as well.
Yes, anytime I think we can make that personal connection, I think it also shows our students that, hey, I can really look at the world around me. For example, I was driving to work the other morning and I noticed the most beautiful, beautiful sunrise. And so I might, as a teacher, say, hey, class, this morning I observed blah, blah, blah. And maybe I just state it as an observation. Did anyone else observe this morning? And just leave it there as, did you notice, kind of an observation. I'm not going to investigate it. I'm not going to start a unit on anything. I'm just simply showing my students that we can observe anytime, anywhere, if we're really thinking about it.
And I feel like once you give students the lens to be able to look at their world where they're looking for observations and you're encouraging them to be curious about the world, they'll be more inclined to keep looking for it. And I know we've mentioned before, but we love the wonder wall in your classroom where you could have a place where they could park those observations or park those questions that they have, where it's just like, I just noticed a beautiful sunrise today. I wonder why some days there's a beautiful sunrise and some days there's not. Like, why does that happen? And it would be a place to just, house those questions, those thoughts for whenever you are ready to explore them. And maybe you're not ready to explore them, but it's just a place to just really, value the observations and the questions from your students.
It's also an easy way cross-curricularly to get some of that other content in as well. And I think this especially is important for our upper grade students, middle school, high school. If you know your students are working, or if you're the teacher and you're teaching adjectives, pull in adjectives. We're going to make observations today and use our adjectives. We're going to make observations today and use similes or metaphors. Or for younger children, maybe you're studying colors. In kindergarten, we're learning colors. So today we're going to make an observation and I want you to use a color word. So you can pull in that content that you are doing in your other subjects and make it cross-curricularly very easily. Language arts. Let's make an observation about the character. Let's make an observation about the setting. In math, you could say make an observation about corners, angles, sides, shape, bigger, smaller, greater than, less than. It doesn't have to be big and complicated. It can just be simple.
Yeah, and so, when we make observations with students of all ages, as we look at the observations for older students, we would hope that they would become more detailed and that they would just become more thorough and that they would have, higher vocabulary and just show like a higher level thinking and observing. And I think, like you said, Aliya, there's lots of ways that we can do that cross-curricular as well that also increase the rigor.
Yes. So leave us a comment and tell us how you used observations after watching this video or after going through inquiry training, and inspire us as well. What are we not thinking of that you have thought of?
Thank you for joining us today for the Inquiry Zone.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you to our new partners, the outstanding teachers in the South Bend Community Schools as you join the Inquiry Zone this fall, and also to the dedicated teachers in the Boggle Community Schools as we begin the Inquiry Zone together. Thank you.
ETHOS offers the Inquiry Zone professional development to schools. Helping to ensure a robust, fun, and cross-curricular approach to science is supported in all grades. Please contact us at contact@ethosinc.org.